Welcome to the Gritcast, where we get into the nitty-gritty of all things hockey. From the East to the West Coast. Here are your hosts, Matt Pierce, Nikosh Ganguly, and Darius Dominguez.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Gritcast today. We have a lot of stuff going on in the hockey world and just, the pop culture sports world in general. But, Matt, how are we feeling? How are we feeling today, man?
Good. Like you said, lots to talk about on the show. Later on, I'll talk about Corey Perry, a newly acquired Edmonton Oiler. Darius, how we been doing, buddy?
Well, I was having a good week, and then the Hockey Canada stuff came out, and, with the London police and all that. So we're going to have to get into that. But you know what, Matt? It's funny you ask me how I'm doing because nobody ever asks Nick how he's doing on the show. So, Nick,
they don't.
How you doing, Nick? How you doing? How was your week? What we got queued up here?
You know what, Darius? It's been a decent week. I finally went back to school. It's my third last semester of my degree, actually, which is pretty crazy.
That's exciting.
Because I've known you two since I was in 10th grade. So
way to make us feel old, pal.
It's been a long time, but anyways, back to it. We do have a lot of stuff to talk about. Patrick Waugh is on Long Island or in Long Island, whatever they want to say. Whatever people want to say. Jim Rutherford actually got a nice extension in Vancouver because the Canucks have been unbelievable. And in addition to this, Utah wants an NHL team, guys. So I'll talk about first things first. Let's dive right into Patrick Waugh going to the New York Islanders. Matt, what did you think when you first heard about Patrick Waugh and Lane Lambert being Gonzo Alonso and Patrick Waugh coming in? He was in Quebec for years. He coached a great team from what I've heard. I'm not as locked in on junior as maybe I should be, but every year seems like Quebec was good. What is Patrick Waugh going to do for a struggling maybe New York Islanders team?
I think he'll give them an identity. Lane Lambert, he was just there. I think he was just a stopgap. Don't think Lou Lamoriello had long-term plans for Lane Lambert. In comes Patrick Waugh. As you already know, great coach with the Quebec Remparts, the QMJHL, was a coach for the Colorado Avalanche of the NHL, and I think he'll bring an identity. He will be a hard ass. He won't take any shit from any Islander player, and he'll sort of get them back on track.
I think it's pretty interesting. It's an interesting fit because the Islanders aren't like anything spectacular on offense, right? And if you look at like his track record in junior, the way he got his junior teams to play is like nothing I've ever seen, like the structure in their team, right? So if he can bring a little bit of that to the island, I think, I don't know, are they in a playoff spot right now? Or just they're hovering around, right? Like they're there.
The Metro is just
like musical chairs. But anyway, hopefully they can squeeze into the playoffs for them for their sake. And, going forward, I think if he kind of whips them into shape, like Matt said, and then on top of that, implements some of his structures, and game plans, like I think things can turn around for the Islanders with the personnel they have because the team isn't, I don't know, the team's not that great, right? Like it's nothing special, but crazy. It's an I don't know. When I first saw it, I was like, why? Because like I get the whole like hard ass thing, but I just think the way he played or had Quebec play, it's just interesting.
No, for sure, and there is questions about his NHL coaching skill level. We know those Avalanche teams weren't anything, not anything insane. I'm just
their first year was kind of, didn't they finish like first or something? But it was like their PDO was like crazy.
It was little Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, according to this Athletic article, obviously, I think Patrick Waugh has already won a game with the Islanders. I think they've won.
Yeah, they won in overtime.
1-0.
Yeah, they won in overtime. Yeah. But with the Avalanche, he was 130 wins, 92 losses, and 24 overtime losses. And in Quebec, Darius, like you said, you saw usually in junior teams, right? You get the cycle, right? You're good for how many years, you're bad for how many years, you're good for how many years. The teams at the top of the standings are at the bottom of the standings, and vice versa. But Quebec was a little bit of a unicorn in that sense, where they were consistently good.
They're good every year. Like it's very weird.
And I think Patrick Waugh also won a Memorial Cup with the Ramparts, which was
2006, I believe, and also
last year.
Recently, was it not? Yeah, so he's won two Memorial Cups.
Yeah, he's won two.
I thought you were gonna say last year, and then you're like 2006, and I was like, and also last year.
That was with Alex Radulov as a Quebec Rempart.
As a player. Yeah.
Radulov, oh my freaking goodness.
Yeah,
I think you're looking at Lou Lamoriello as a guy who I don't know if you guys were surprised about this firing, but like you said, Matt, I think he didn't really see Lane Lambert as the guy. But the New York Islanders, like, I don't know what the plan is, because there hasn't been. I've been digging into their analytics just a little prior to this. I was just looking at the defensemen because they were revered for their defensive prowess, especially on the back end. Noah Dobson is this year, for my money, in the Norris conversation. I don't know if he's a finalist or a nominee, but I think he's in that conversation. But they had guys like Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech, who were like a dominant pair. But it seems like recently they've lost their touch. Maybe that's coaching after Barry Trotz is gone. Maybe they were Trotz system players. Who really knows? But honestly, like you said, Darius, the Islanders are they're in purgatory. Maybe I don't know if Patrick Waugh brings them to a playoff spot or brings them anywhere deep into the playoffs like we saw them go with these Eastern Conference Finals runs before. But just looking at their line combinations most recently, Matthew Barzal, Bo Horvat, and Anders Lee, I think that's solid. That's a decent first line, maybe. They have Ilya Sorokin, but I just don't know. I don't know what Lou Lamoriello is seeing from this team, Darius. Like, what do you think the plan is here, bringing in a guy like Patrick Waugh? Is it like, let's make a deep run, or like let's just let's solidify some things? What is he seeing?
Is like, I think it's literally just like whip them into shape, or like, and obviously he's had a lot of success at the junior level, and I think it's just that fire. Like, he's an old school guy, like Lou likes, right? Like, I don't know if there's any like science to it. I keep using that phrase, like science, but like, you know what I mean? Like
the crutch.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything really to it besides the fire that he brings. Like, he's a passionate guy, and he's gonna get them rolling, right? And I think they just needed like a new voice, because Lambert was there before as an assistant, I'm pretty sure, for the last 4 or 5 years. So I think, like, yeah, you got a new head coach, but he's already been there. So I think you just need a new voice. And I'm a fan of like what Waugh has done with the Remparts, like his like I said, like his structures and his game plans and tactics, all of that. They always played a different style than the rest of the junior teams. Like, junior teams are really focused on like a certain style of play. He was playing more like of an NHL style. He's trying different things, and they won because of that. So I think if he continues to try new things, like, he was the first guy to like pull a goalie with like 10 minutes left or whatever, right? Like, I think it's just something like that. Like, this lineup is stale. He's getting old. I don't know if he can make those crazy trades, right? And kind of upgrade the team on the fly like that. So I think, I don't know, they're just trying something. Throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks with him. I think that's all it is.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Matt, what do you think about that dynamic of moving from assistant to head coach after being the assistant for so long? Like, what do you think that can work? Or is it just like, man, you've seen this guy all the time for so long. It's not even like he's the head coach. It's like, man, you're the assistant, man. Like I don't care. You know what I mean? Do you get that vibe?
I feel like it's more like an interim sort of vibe. It's like, okay, you were the right hand man to the bench boss for years. Bench boss is out. You're in now. I said earlier in the show, it's a stopgap. I pretty much think that's what like assistant to head coach, like that pipeline is. And it wasn't anything too long term, in my opinion.
No, it just does not seem like that. But
like all around the league right now, when I can think of Ryan Huska in Calgary, he was assistant, now he's the head coach. Again, I don't see that as a long-term plan. I think Craig Conroy's got something else. But still, yeah, I mean, head coaching, it's more of like trying something new rather than going to the same old time and time again in the head coaching world.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they're looking at well, speaking of Calgary, that might be a whole other topic maybe we'll get into. But yeah, I just think, like you said, it's hard to do that. But to put a ball on this, the Islanders are playing Montreal tonight. Maybe they could pull a win because the Canadians have been bad. They have Florida on Saturday, and then they're in Toronto after the All-Star break. So let's see what Patrick Waugh can do his next 3 games. Patrick Waugh will be in Toronto Monday, February 5th, after the All-Star game. So that is certainly very interesting. But let's move on to the next topic. Matt, your background is representing something pretty interesting, because the Edmonton Oilers, even last week when we talked, they hadn't lost a game. And a week later, they still haven't lost a game. Everyone is shipping in except for Connor Brown, it seems like. And they're looking very, very good. And you know what they did? They brought in a dickhead. like we said on the last show, there was a segment on we uploaded a TikTok about it. Corey Perry is that dickhead that they need. Adam Ernie goes on waivers. Matt, I'm not gonna say Corey Perry's gonna come in and make a significant difference, maybe in the playoffs, but how excited are you just for some change in the Oilers organization after there was a little break between the knob block and all that stuff? And how are the Oilers looking again? Even if you have to say the same stuff, how are we feeling?
A 14-game win streak brought in Corey Perry. I want to say league min, but there's opportunity for bonuses in the playoffs, the mostly playoff performance bonuses. But I can't believe I have to cheer for Corey Perry now after years of him being a Duck, terrorizing the Oilers. 2017, still haven't lost that grudge. But it's something, to change. Needed a dickhead. Will it throw off the vibe in the room? I don't think so, because when the Oilers brought in Evander Kane 2 seasons ago, I don't think it made the room worse. So with Corey Perry brings in that cup-winning pedigree in 2007 with the Ducks, and also he's got, 4 consecutive finals appearances? 3?
Something like that, yeah.
Three in a row for sure, right?
And he lost.
3 in a row, because, lost all 3.
Good.
What, he was a
Dallas,
star.
Montreal, Tampa,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then what
Let's
happened?
go.
Where was he? Oh, Tampa. The Leafs beat Tampa. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Darius, what do you think Corey Perry brings to the Oilers come playoff time, especially?
He's
That's
another.
what's gonna matter, right?
Yeah, he's another. He kind of puts him over the top for me because he's just another shithead. Is that the term you used, Matt?
Shithead, dickhead.
Yeah.
I mean, they're interchangeable.
He's another guy that is gonna, and he's not just there for that. He can still score, right? We saw it with Tampa. Like he scored a couple times against the Leafs too. So
deployment is huge for that guy. It's really important.
Yeah. So if they can figure out a way, even if he squeezes, I don't think he will. And Matt, I'll ask you that in a second. Like, where do you think he, fits in the lineup? He'll probably be bottom 6 just because the Oilers have so much talent.
Bottom 6.
But it's pretty interesting. He's another guy that can kind of chip in. He's going to push guys around. He's really hard to play against. Like, he's really good in the playoffs. So I'm excited to see what Corey Perry does for the Oilers because I feel like as much as he's not going to be like a huge contributor offensively or anything like that, he kind of puts them over the top in the playoffs. Like, this is a huge get for the Oilers. I think he can kind of help them get over whatever hump they've been struggling to get over the last few years. So it's gonna be fun. Like Corey Perry, it's weird, like because I kind of like to cheer for the Oilers in the playoffs because they got McDavid and Matt. He cheers for the Oilers, So it's just gonna be weird to look at Perry and it's like, yeah, the team that you're on, I would like to see them win.
Has it yet?
I don't know.
No, I believe he's slotted to debut Saturday afternoon against the Nashville Predators, which is quite hilarious because tonight the Oilers play the Chicago Blackhawks, Perry's former team.
That's why
but
he's not
Knobloch and Holland in the presser when they introduce Perry to the Edmonton media, which Perry will come to love. Mark Spector and Matheson and every other name that you can think of. But yeah,
my boy Jim.
They want him to sort of learn the systems, and so Saturday is when the Oilers would like Corey Perry to make his debut, which is also Streak Watch 2024. They're currently 14-0 in their last 14 games. They've got Chicago tonight. They got Nashville on Saturday, a team that Leon Draisaitl historically the past few years has come to dominate. And then, of course, there's the All-Star break, and then there is the California and Vegas road trip, and their first game after the All-Star break is Vegas. And if everything goes well, that is an opportunity to tie an NHL record.
Which is 17 by the Penguins, I think, right?
In 92, 93.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the Blackhawks that one year, but they just kept maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
No, that was 23 games, I think, but it was an unbeaten.
Like a winless thing.
No, it was it was a point streak, I think. So they had lost in overtime, at some point in there. I think they started the year 4-0-1 actually. So it wasn't even
okay.
Yeah.
I think the Pens had a 14, 15 game streak that year, that very same year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, there was a couple that year. Weird year.
Matt, who do you think Corey Perry slots in beside in the line rushes?
I think he's fourth line because right now down the middle, it's just ridiculous looking at the line combos here. The top 6 is pretty much stagnant at this point. You got Hyman, Nuge, McDavid, Hyman. Just looking at daily face-off here right now, fellas.
Matt doesn't
Yeah,
even know his
fourth
own
line.
team's lines. Doesn't even know his own team's lines.
They keep changing.
Yeah. Well, the bottom
fraud.
six, but yeah.
Yeah.
Jan Mark Ryan. Right now Sam Gagne is that fourth line right wing, but I think he'll be slotting in for Sam Gagne. I think it'll sort of be like a platoon situation with Gagne and Perry, because
Shout
they're
out
both
Sam
old.
Gagne. Shout out Sam Gagne.
Yeah, shout out Sam Gagne, only
Sam
player to be a
Gagne.
part of 2 14-game win streaks.
Shout out Sam Gagne. But let's talk about Corey Perry's point production a little. He had 9 points in 16 games with the Blackhawks. I'm sure he was playing. Oh yeah, he played almost 15 minutes a night. Don't think he'll get that with the Oilers, but
No.
still decent nonetheless. Before that, in Tampa, he was down at the 11-minute mark. Still chipped in 25 points, but he was a minus 28. What the fuck? Okay. And 2 years ago, once again on Tampa, he had 40 points in 82 games, playing 13 minutes a night. That's pretty good. And now the Oilers, they have 3 Hart Trophy winners on their team right now.
I believe so. Yes.
So
So is
that's what
Corey
you need.
Perry, McDavid, and Draisaitl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All the
Cool.
same today.
Definitely the same caliber of player.
And also, not to mention here, fellas, Stuart Skinner, just
I want to say
unbelievable.
I held that guy in fantasy all fucking year because I knew he would regret.
Finally turn
I'm
around.
very happy with that.
Yeah,
I'm very happy with that.
Set an Oilers new franchise record, 11 straight wins.
Wow.
Beat Grant Fuhr's almost 40-year-old record.
Holy crap!
Can we talk about Jack Campbell too for a second? Because he's looked pretty good in the A the last little
Good-
while.
good for
So
him.
could he be
Yeah,
coming?
good.
Could he be
No.
making an appearance?
They don't have the cap
No.
space for that now, right? Because I'm
I
sure.
don't.
Oh yeah.
Because some of that $5 million gets buried, not all of it, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
not
not,
all of
even
it.
half
They
or
probably,
something.
they probably couldn't call him back up.
They can trade him
Probably
though.
not. I mean, shit, I'd stay in
Him and Broberg.
Bakersfield too.
Attach Broberg to him and send him away somewhere.
Absolutely not. Borgo, send
How does-
Borgo over Broberg.
How does that work, though?
Here's Broberg.
When you get buried, right? You get paid, but it doesn't count to the cap. That's all it is, right?
Some of it does. Some of it does. Like
No,
for
that
Campbell,
sorry,
most of it
yeah.
does.
No, like 60% of it, whatever, still stays on the team's cap, but you get paid your contract.
Yeah, because it's a
Yeah.
one-way.
Oh,
It's a
bro,
one-way.
chill. Just don't
otherwise,
even
the-
don't ever go back to the NHL. You're good, bro.
I'm sure
Yeah.
he wants to play in the NHL though.
Yeah, I know.
Like would I rather be? Look, I know you're picking two mid out of Bakersfield and Edmonton, but like I'd probably want to be in Edmonton with McDavid than in Bakersfield with fucking. I don't even know if they have is Tyler Benson still there. He probably
No,
is.
Tyler
Tyler
Benson is
Benson.
in Henderson.
Tyler
he's
Benson's
a-
gone. Oh
Yeah,
my god, the guy
I
is
think
a
we talked about
Bakersfield
this
legend.
earlier.
Bakersfield
He
legend.
was a Bakersfield legend. He's also a Vancouver Giants legend too. And then where did that get him?
Henderson, as you just said. But,
That's right, yeah. That's where
I
he's
feel
at.
like let's wrap this. The Oilers are going to be on a tear. I think they win their next 2 games, get up to 15 pretty easily, and they go into that California swing. But Darius, before we get into a little bit more of a sensitive topic, let's talk about the LA Kings for a little. I just because you reminded me that with California, they are playing bad. And like we said earlier, in the earlier weeks or earlier episodes of the show, when you're playing good, it doesn't matter that Pierre-Luc Dubois is playing bad. But now they're playing bad, and Pierre-Luc Dubois is still playing bad. There was a Drew Doughty quote where I'm paraphrasing here. He basically said people in the room care more about individual stats and points. I don't know who he's talking about, but do what you want with that information, Matt. What the fuck is going on in LA? Ever since the Oilers beat them, right?
Yeah, some would say it started around there. Some would say it started earlier. But they just need to change the scenery badly. Todd McClellan on the hot seat. They got to do that sooner rather than later. You need someone new in there to rejuvenate this Kings team.
You think it's coaching? It's just coaching?
I
No.
think so. Yeah. Oh,
No,
Darius.
sorry.
Okay. No.
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 And I'll tell you why. And I just think it's funny because you brought it up, actually, Nick, and Matt said it too. This only started when they lost to the Oilers, and then the Leafs shut them out. And then since then, they have been very bad. And I'll tell you why. You don't have goaltending, right?
They were riding Talbot for a bit there, but yeah, he was.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, you don't have goaltending. And a guy that you pay $8 million a year to be a top player on your team, at least, because you still have Kopitar. I know he's getting older. At least a second line center sucks ass. And he's on your 4th line. That's why you're not winning. because all your salary is wrapped up in a guy that we know for the last 8 years, and we've had numerous podcast segments on him, numerous shorts that went viral, by the way, I might add.
Oh yeah, brother.
About him. He sucks, bro. He sucks. He doesn't play like a guy who wants to be there. He doesn't play like a guy who even wants to be in the NHL, and it's a privilege, and it hurts me to watch that guy play hockey. But anyway, that's why the Kings are not doing well. They don't have the goaltending that the caliber of a team that they are needs, and one of their best players on paper and paid to be their best players is one of their worst players.
Yep.
I wouldn't say worst players, but like relative to what he makes.
No, he's trash.
Yeah.
He's trash.
He's going to finish with 40 points. What are you doing?
And I think you're looking at guys like you said, Kopitar just had a really cool ceremony because he's like one of the best players to ever play for that franchise. Like Quinton Byfield's putting together a good season. I think he's just a left winger at this point. Maybe the hope from playing at center is probably gone. But
Yeah.
You look at a Kopitar. We talked about this in our season previews. You look at a Kopitar, Dubois, Deneau, 1, 2, 3. You're laughing a little, right?
They should be killers.
Nobody's laughing anymore. And Pierre-Luc Dubois is playing absolutely terrible. I know, it's probably not just him, like you said, Darius, but he's the first guy you look at, and you're like, damn, in Winnipeg, Gabe Vilardi's having quite the season. And Pierre-Luc Dubois is making a lot more than him for a lot more time. And, he's not even playing his natural position sometimes because that's how bad he's been. He's playing way down the lineup. And going back to the goaltending, I do want to talk about this. So, Cam Talbot honestly was putting together an insanely good season. Right now, he's still sitting at a .913 save percentage, well above league average. But his last few starts have not been that great. So January 7th, he put in an 8.82 game, not great. The next game, 8.97. He bounces back against Florida with a 9.27, still loses in overtime. And oh my goodness. How many games has he lost in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Holy crap. And then his most recent game, 8.65. He had an 8.21 and 8.15. Aside from that Florida game that he still lost in, not been looking great, Darius, as you said. So yeah, and honestly, like at the end of the day, you're looking at Cam Talbot and you're like, it's Cam Talbot, man. Like did you think he was gonna put up a 930 the whole year? Because I sure
No.
didn't. I don't know about you guys. So
we talked about it in our season previews.
Yeah.
They're not
goaltending.
Yeah.
Go get a goalie. Matt, as a former McClellan watcher, what's the problem?
I think he's relying way too much on veterans to get the job done. I mean, a Kopitar, old-ass Cam Talbot, you're expecting them to carry the load when they haven't been able to do that in years? I mean, you got to try something new once in a while.
The thing is, too, right? Like we said, again, in our season previews, the LA Kings, you take a look at their line rushes, that is a deep fucking team. Kopitar, Byfield, Kempe. Trevor Moore's putting together a great season with Deneau and Fiala. Alex Laferriere is having an okay season. Dubois, your third line center, you would hope that would be good. And even like guys like Carl Grunstrom and Trevor Lewis are still contributors. Defensively, I always like them too, with Gavrikov, Mikey Anderson, Drew Doughty, Brent Clark. I don't know how often he's playing, but he's there as well. It's very confusing to me when you have a roster this good. And it seems like Dubois, every team he goes to, he has okay rosters and they suck. And maybe it's over for Tom McCullough. I don't know what's gonna happen in LA, but I'm honestly so confused. Tomorrow though, might not get any better because they play the Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, the buzzsaw.
And Nathan McKinnon is on a fucking tear. So we'll see what happens with the Kings. Maybe they fire McClellan. Maybe they don't. Maybe Dubois requests a trade next week. Who knows what's gonna happen with that guy? And it's gonna be a little bit harder to trade now because he makes a lot of freaking.
And there's only one place he wants to go, and we all know where that is.
Yep, Montreal. Maybe don't sign 8. Maybe don't sign 8 years somewhere if you maybe if you
have other aspirations.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had the choice between LA and Montreal, come on.
I'm living it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm probably going.
And you wouldn't even be recognized. I know some guys don't like it, right? Like you wouldn't even be recognized in LA.
You're the 6th most popular team.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's like the most popular white guy in LA is Austin Reeves, is it not? Like,
Maybe. I don't know. There's no like Charger or Ram that are more popular than
Oh,
Reeds.
Cooper Cup. Okay, never mind.
I don't know. I don't watch enough football to know that. But yeah, the Kings they're painfully mid right now. Maybe arguably worse than mid. But we do have a little bit of a segue that's not easy here. But Darius, you talked about it when the show started. Okay, I want to preface this by saying, first of all, trigger warning, sexual content, for anybody that you don't have to watch this, of course, but
We'll put like a timestamp, like a skip to the next segment.
I also do want to preface this by saying, I think everyone is saying this. Anyone smart, we are not here to speculate on a police case because we are not lawyers. Some people on social media who are not lawyers think they are lawyers and are trying to piece the puzzles together. Don't do that. It just makes you look bad because you might be wrong, or even if you're right.
We only talk about like what's been released.
Yeah, it's not worth it, but it's important to discuss because we love watching hockey, discussing the sport, but a lot of times, it was sad yesterday. I'm not gonna get into it, Darius, but it just seems like it's just hard, man. And I know I'm saying that as like a dude, but it's tough to see, and I feel bad for people that are impacted specifically by this. But Darius, what happened yesterday in the Hockey Canada realm?
Well, I guess like we got to go back a few days. Like not really, because everything started to make sense yesterday. I think, right? Not make sense, but you started to kind of the puzzle pieces are showing up. But I don't think you can still put them together yet because there's so much up in the air still, right? We talked about it numerous times on the podcast, what happened. So I think everyone's like well aware of what's going on. Like we don't have to get into that. But anyway, I think it started with Dylan Dubé. He was granted a leave of absence from the Flames. I think I have the official thing here.
You cited mental health, by the way.
Yeah, so Flame statement on Dylan Dubé. Dylan Dubé has been granted an indefinite leave of absence from the team while he attends to his mental health. Dubé is under the care of health professionals, and we request that Dylan's privacy is respected during this time. If he's part of this, that's tough. So I don't want to speculate or anything, right? I'm just saying if he is a part of it, if he is one of the 5 players that has been called by London police, that is a tough. I just want to start with that because that's a tough look because a lot of people take that seriously, like mental health, and for you to like frame it as that, and then if we were to find out that it's not what that was, I think that's a tough look on the Flames. Like they're gonna have to answer for that. And then I think next was Carter Hart from the Flyers. It was really vague. He was granted a leave of absence from the Philadelphia Flyers as well. And then next, I believe it was the Devils guy. So Cal Foote and Michael McLeod. And that's 4. Who am I missing? There was a 5th one. Formanton, yeah. So
from his Swiss team.
His Swiss team announced that he had been released. That's why I didn't think about it. He's not in the NHL. He had been not released, granted a leave of absence to return to Canada. And they said that. So that kind of, makes it look like that's exactly what's happening. So they've all been called back, whoever's involved. But I think like it's dangerous to, like you said, like a lot of people are playing lawyer right now. And I think that's dangerous because like Drake Batherson's name's been thrown around. And by all signs, like I don't know if he's actually involved in this, right? Like we still don't know, but his name's been thrown around like on definite lists, and we just don't know, right? So I think we have to wait until the police, London police, make their statement. It's February 5th. We're gonna find out the names because it sounds like they're gonna be charged. I don't know the details. All right, like I don't know what's gonna happen. People are like, oh, they're going to jail. People are like, they're not going to jail. Whatever. Like, just wait for the police to make their statement exactly what's going on because we don't know still who's being charged and who's involved because as we know, there's other people involved as well. I think there's 3 others, right? If I got the numbers correct. So I don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces. Stop playing lawyer. Stop playing police.
You're not a detective.
You are not a detective, and you don't have to be. You don't have to be. Wait.
Not everything needs crazy exposition.
No. Exactly. And I think the most important thing to come out of this, because it's going to come out on February 5th, we're going to find out everything, right? Is that, justice is served in some way. Like the repercussions aren't like this is blasted on everything, which it has been. And they don't get away with it this time, right? Because there's so many instances as so many things are coming out, like WWE today, for example. There is so much that we do not see happening that now,
Much that we'll never know about.
That you would never know about. And hockey culture is so bad in that way that I think that you kind of like, you have to make an example out of this specific situation. You have to make an example out of it because it needs to stop. You need to make a huge example and be like, no, man, like this is not okay. Like, don't do this. You will not get out of it, right? Like you will not get out of it in the future. Do not do that. Like be human. Be a human being.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. And there's also a side note, Rick Westhead, unbelievable job he's done on fantastic. This. Same with Katie Strang. Mm-hmm. But also to add on to the 2018, there's also a report from Rick that said the 2003 World Junior team, that the Halifax police, the investigation is still continuing. Mm-hmm. So could we see more justice? Hopefully. But just a side note, fellas.
I just want to say something. Not to be like witty about anything, but like if Rick Westhead or Katie Strang tweets about any incident or anything, you're cooked. Like it's over. Like,
they're like shot clock cheese in the fourth quarter. Like it's
like you're cooked.
Yeah.
You're cooked. Like,
can I just say too, because I see so much of it. I almost don't want to address it because it's so stupid. People are always on the opposite side or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not even playing devil's advocate in this situation. You're just an idiot.
It's just being dumb.
Yeah, you're just an idiot. But a lot of people are like, it didn't need to happen, or it wasn't that bad, or whatever, all that stuff that you hear, because it's out there. You see it, right? Like it's out there, right? And
to anybody will say anything.
Anybody will say anything. It's crazy.
If your name's not attached, people will say anything.
The first name, which isn't even the real name, bunch of numbers, like that's, you know. So to that, like I feel for this woman who now who's been living, I guess it's been 6 years since 2018 with this investigation, having to all this stuff come back up, obvious PTSD, all that stuff. Like this woman's life is affected, and we're all sitting there like, whatever, right? Like all these people like just saying, it wasn't that bad or whatever. You've seen all that shit on Twitter, whatever.
So when people doing like what actuallys to a case like this, like well actually,
it's like, crazy. Well actually, or it's crazy to me. Like
also, this is my reaction to a lot of things. Like why are you like so adamant about defending these people, or like
I don't know where it comes from. Like what is that?
They don't like. I don't understand. I feel like if you see a case of this nature, in my mind, maybe in some other, like I think in all three of our minds, I speak for all of it, it's like what are you like playing devil's advocate for? But there's no need. Nobody needs to be a contrarian for something like this.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like it's just insane thinking to be like, well, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Like this transcends like a sport. Like this is like basic everyday human lives. These are people.
Yeah.
These are people. Who cares? Who gives a shit about, a sport when you have, actual feelings on the line here?
Yes.
Quite frankly, this has nothing to do with the sport.
Take the sport away. I think people, those people who are like defending or play devil's advocate feel very differently about like take out hockey out of all like the things in this, right? I think for some reason people that grew up in Canada or who are middle-aged, and no offense to you two, white, I'm sorry, they feel some type of way about defending hockey as their patriotic like duty, like as Canadians. It's like, dude, you take hockey out of this, you're on the same side as everyone else, but all of a sudden they inject the sport into it. It's like, oh, come on, like
you gotta play devil's advocate for some reason.
It's like, come on, it's unbelievable to me. It's like, dude, why? I don't understand the mental deepholes you gotta go through.
The mental gymnastics.
To play devil's advocate for a case like this, it's insanity. It's crazy. Like you gotta be. I don't know.
I don't know what that is. That thing that people, because there's people like I see. It could be anything, not even just this situation, but it could be anything. I see an obvious troll account trying to get obvious troll responses, right? Just get people riled up. And it could be the most absurd shit, right? But then I see like actual people's Twitter accounts and they're like, it's not that bad or whatever to this situation or any situation, right? And you're like, what? I have a hard time understanding and wrapping my head around what is that? Like, why are you doing this, right? Like, why do you feel like you need to do that?
For some people, like the difference between right and wrong, like they have zero idea. They could just say something, I think I'm in the right, and then they'll just stand by that when they're clearly not, and they're wrong.
Yeah.
But they just can't like flip that switch.
Well, I think there's a lot of people
sure.
too who didn't read, because all three of us, I'm pretty sure, have read like the details of the situation, right? When it
Yes.
first came out. There's a lot of people who read the headline and then just went like, oh, well, it's not that bad or whatever, right? And then they just run with that. And that becomes like its own thing. And it's like, just click the link and read it. Like, then you have the full understanding of how disgusting this whole situation is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how this woman's life has been destroyed, and how she, because a lot of people take the narrative, like, what's the narrative? Like, oh, she just wants money because they're in the NHL or whatever. That dude, this woman's life is destroyed. That, I don't think, honestly, it probably has nothing to do with money, right? Like, it's like, let's make an example out of that. I think that's the most what is the wording? Significant thing out of this.
Yeah, I just think I'm gonna put a bow on this.
Yeah. We could go forever.
Just because there's no new information, I want to quickly have a conversation by saying, you could say a lot about the cultural systemic issues with hockey that you're seeing on social media that comes from a case this bad. Like, you already see it with like racism and homophobic deeply entrenched within the sport. I'm just saying this because I've written like 3 papers on this. Anytime we have an opportunity to write a paper about it, I'm gonna do it. But it's like you're seeing the major problem with hockey and its culture, and Canadian beliefs and values, because they're one and the same. Hockey in Canada, they kind of the blue collar, work hard values, even though all these guys are millionaires. I just I don't understand that part, but I just think you're looking at people who hockey is very like, my sport is better than your sport no matter what. Like, oh, like, I don't like the NBA and the NFL and the MLB because they make too much money and they flop and all this stuff. I like my sport because they all work hard and they play the right way. And now you're seeing situations where that pyramid, or that that Roman Empire is being destroyed by real evidence like this, and people feel some type of way about it because for some reason they are like married to this sport, even though at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's a sport. Like, people have lives, real lives to live, and they're being impacted extremely negatively by this. But with that being said, we are going to wrap that segment there. Let's move on to something a little bit more lighthearted maybe. Let's talk about some All-Star stuff. I don't think we talked. Did we talk about the captains and celebrities last episode?
No,
I don't believe so, because they were only unveiled on Saturday.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. I think that's a little more lighthearted and fun. So I believe you had Matthews with his assistant captain Morgan Riley, and with the celebrity captain Justin Bieber. You had Nathan McKinnon, and I don't know who Nathan McKinnon's assistant captain is. I want to just say it's Cale Makar. I don't even know.
I actually don't know.
And celebrity captain Tate McRae, obviously. Then you had the Canucks boys with Michael Bublé. I think that's cool because Michael Bublé is a huge Canucks fan. So that's awesome. And then you have what is it, McDavid and Will Arnett?
McDavid, Draisaitl, and Will Arnett, which is
that
so
should be a
weird how they
sitcom, bro.
I love how they put like the Leaf fan with like the 2 Oilers.
Dude, it's because fucking Bieber. It's because Bieber, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But I mean, it's good to have like celebrity captains that like love the game.
Actual celebrities too. Like, not like a celebrity like 10 people in Western Canada know. Like, come on. Let's
like, this year is good. Because, okay, to me, Will Arnett and Michael Bublé are like, they're celebrities, but they're kind of like,
they're Canadian celebrities.
They're Canadian celebrities, and they're wrapped into hockey and all that stuff. But like Justin Bieber, that's great, right? Like, come on.
Even Tate McRae's huge.
I was about to say, I think she's the most popular new artist, and one of the most popular artists in general on Spotify right now, or on the charts, whatever. Yep. So that's a big, also Canadian, but that's a big get, right? Like, that's, to me, Justin Bieber being there, I know he was going to be there because Austin Matthews and shit, and it's in Toronto. But that's a big deal. That gets eyes. And I feel like the whole celebrity thing that they tried to mix in, like since 20, with, The Office or whatever.
Jenna Fisher?
Jenna Fisher from The Office. Like, what have they, I don't know, it's just kind of meh. It's always kind of meh. But this year it's kind of like, All right.
That's cool.
Cool.
They're trying. I also have tickets to the skills competition. So I
Oh,
think
congratulations.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Congrats on the debt.
No, it wasn't that bad.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm just joking.
I mean, like the names in the skills competition, because you got Pasternak, McKinnon, Makar, Draisaitl, McDavid, Jack Hughes, Nikita Kucherov, Matthews, Nylander, Pedersen, JT Miller, and Quinn Hughes.
JT Miller. I'm excited.
JT, yeah, I think he was voted in. I think they had like the last 5 people voted in.
I think it'll be cool.
Yeah.
I think it'll be cool to see all those guys like at one time. Like they're not playing, but like you know.
But it's a cool. They're also just showing off their skills
also,
too.
I think it's cool though because like you're going. You're not like for the first time ever going to Scotiabank Arena. I'm not like gonna be angry at any outcome. I can just go there and like chill and just enjoy myself. Because dude, when I go to Leaf games, I'm like, dude, fuck. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck. Like we're gonna lose.
Yeah,
I know it's funny. We're gonna lose. You know what I mean? That's the gambling risk you take when you go to a sporting event. You pay all this money, and then your team might lose. They might get shellacked. You know?
And they might get shut out.
Yep. Luckily, I've never gone to a Leafs game where they've gotten shut out. But
on a side note, last night that was the only thing I was thinking of. I'm like, these poor people sitting here. If the Leafs lose in overtime, bro, I'd be so mad.
Imagine they lost in the shootout, dude.
I'd be so mad. Anyway, yeah, I think it's. I think
cool.
like in terms of because you said you're going to the skills competition. I think, in personal opinion, I think besides the pacing of it, I think the skills competition live might be more fun than the game because the game, they're not really trying.
They don't care.
Like they might try some things, but I feel like you might see some more cool shit in the skills comp.
Yeah, more interesting stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
Some witty, but yeah, I think it's cool. The city's getting involved. It's sick. A lot of people. I think the Hockey Diversity Alliance is actually doing like a festival like this Saturday, like during the day, which is cool.
And then on All-Star Thursday, I believe it was the PWHL 3-on-3 showcase.
Yeah, they're having a showcase
after the draft, I think.
I believe so. Yes.
So speaking of the PWHL, they just announced a Toronto-Montreal game in Scotiabank Arena on February 16th.
February 16th, which
nice.
is March break. So it's going to be jammed. It's a Friday night. It's going to be sick.
March break in February?
Oh, sorry.
February 16th is March break. February 16th is March break, guys. I just want you to know that is on recording.
Yes. So
that's not even like reading week for me.
Listen. We're going to restart the podcast now. We'll restart the podcast and
all right, guys. Welcome back to the Gritcast. Matt, Darius.
Sorry, I heard March, and I was like, oh, that's March break. Anyway, it's a Friday night.
Yeah, it's Friday night. Tickets go on sale February 1st. So maybe I'll check in, see how much it is.
Oh,
I think they're gonna break the. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention you might hear your work played at Scotiabank Arena.
Oh, I will hear my work.
Yeah. Well, if it's anything like the first game, we might not. So
they've been struggling. Toronto has been struggling.
They're not great.
They're not great. They've been struggling, but I have faith.
But they're trying.
They have some really good players. I think they just gotta figure out how to. It's the start of the season. You know what I mean? Like if you don't start well, you're in the mud. You got to figure it out. But
unless you're the Oilers,
right? Yeah. No, but you never know. Toronto could go on a run like that. But what was I gonna say? Oh, the PWHL, or I guess women's hockey attendance record right now is held by XL Energy Center in Minnesota. I'm pretty sure, I don't want to get ahead of myself, they're gonna smash that record that day.
I think we'll break it.
They're gonna smash that record that day. So that's exciting. That's very exciting.
This is so sick.
Yeah.
This is so sick.
And
so
like
cool.
for them too, like that's awesome. You get to play at Scotiabank Arena in front of probably close to a sold out crowd.
Philippe Poulin versus Sarah Nurse.
It's Toronto, Montreal. It's a Friday night. Like it's awesome. I think the Leafs play the Habs the next night too. Like,
and it'll be some people don't always get to go watch professional games in Scotiabank Arena because it's so expensive.
I know they
it'd be nice to get that real huge arena atmosphere.
Exactly.
A lot of people I know love to go to the Marlies like family series they do like in December in Scotiabank Arena. So I think it'll be cool for people who don't always get to experience Scotiabank Arena with like, important hockey games to go and see that. I think that's always awesome. So,
that'd be fun.
It's cool, but yeah, that is awesome as well. I forgot how we go. Oh, All-Star game. Another thing that's cool is the Drake's brand OVO just announced a collaboration with the NHL for the All-Star game. They had Mario Lemieux as the model, which was sick. Pretty cool. I can guarantee you those hoodies are going to be $300 each because I own an OVO hoodie. I own multiple, and I got some from the first Leafs collab because I had to. They're so sick. It's gonna be expensive. You may as well get a jersey. But yeah, I will say that it's cool. I had an argument with one of my buddies about Drake and how Drake could be a part of the All-Star game. I'm like, dude, Drake doesn't care.
He was a part of the. He was a part of the one in Ottawa in 2012. I think he did like an intermission performance.
Yeah, in 2012, man.
2012, yeah.
That's when like.
Yeah, nothing was the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what. That was fucking terrible. That was terrible. Like he probably performed like "Find Your Love." He doesn't do that anymore. Yeah, that was really interesting. Let's talk about the Leafs quickly. Ilya Samsonov. Well, Darius, what was that tweet you put out yesterday?
He's so back. He's so back.
Call the We're Back department.
Oh, hi. We're back department. I'd like to file a claim.
Yep. We are back. He had an insane game, made a crazy save on a 2-on-0, and yeah, I think the Leafs have did they beat Seattle on Sunday? They did.
They did, yeah.
They're on a two-game win streak.
Can I just say that Seattle game was weird? Like I feel like I didn't even watch it. Like I can't remember.
It was a Sunday 9 p.m.
late
game.
Start, like 9 p.m. whatever. The game ended, and
That is a weird start.
Just weird.
Oh. Like it was an experience. It wasn't a broadcast.
No, it was very odd. Yeah.
But we hashed out our Leafs grievances last episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that again because like it's tiring. I want to talk about the good things today. Matthews.
Oh, good. There's two of them.
Matthews scored. He keeps scoring. Can't stop.
It was a typical Matthews goal, a redirection.
Yeah, right. Nick Robertson. Season high 17 minutes and he looked amazing. Dude,
Yep.
I didn't I was listening because I've on Wednesdays I have class late till like 9, so I meet my dad. My dad works at the airport. So I meet my dad at the airport. I take the Up Express from Union to the airport. I just meet him there. So we were listening to Joe Bowen on the way home. So we heard the end of the third and overtime with Joe Bowen. Always nice. So I didn't see it. I heard it. When I got home, that play where Nick Robertson passed that shit in the air, that shit was crazy. And then I remember I was listening. I was like, Joe Bowen was like, Matthews in. Matthews. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, it was bad.
I was
bad. I was mad.
I didn't see it. And then luckily, he ended up scoring. But yeah, cool nonetheless. Shout out to Nick Robertson. I don't think he should be scratched anymore. No matter what kind of defensive words he has, it doesn't matter because the fourth line is shit anyway. Like I don't know.
Defensively, I think I have my thoughts about the fourth line, but anyway.
I just think you need both ends of the ice from a line like that, but we don't need to dive into that. Yeah, it's been good. The Leafs they play Winnipeg again Saturday, and then they're off.
And they're off for what, almost 2 weeks, I think, until that Islanders game on the 5th.
Yeah, like a week and a half. Yeah, a week and a half basically. Yeah. So get some rest, relaxation. Ryan Reed was gonna go to Cancun, rest of his knees, and we'll see what happens when he gets back. Let's move on to what are we? Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Let's move on to one of our final segments of the day. Streaming. WWE.
Yes.
WWE. I'm trying to think if there's any other NHL stuff we missed. Peter Mrazek extension, whatever. No, nothing else. But yeah. Streaming.
Oh, there's one, not NHL, but if you want to stay on hockey real quick, something I can mention. So one thing, I think Matt would find this interesting too. We could talk about it very briefly. Yesterday was the Top Prospects game. So all the OHL players,
I heard about that. Yeah,
the QMJHL players, the WHL players, they get together. They split into two teams. Used to be coached by Bobby Orr and Don Cherry. Has not been coached by those two in quite some time. No reason.
Why?
Because one of them got canceled.
I think both of them did, if we're being honest here.
Yeah, I think in the same year, actually. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I went to one. It was a great experience. I worked as a media member there. Fantastic experience. There was a couple steelheads there that year. I was in the Don Cherry scrum, and it was insane. Nobody garnered that much attention the whole day except for that. It was absolutely insane. But anyway.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a good event. And yesterday was the last one, it sounds like. So they're introducing a new format, which I think is very interesting. it's going to be all the best U.S. top prospects versus the best CHL prospects going forward. So instead of taking the entire CHL, flying them out, and splitting them into 2 teams and calling it the top prospects, even though it's only the CHL top prospects, now you'll have like a U.S. versus Canada kind of thing going on every year, which I think is
so sick.
I think it's
That's
way
so
better. I think
it's
that's
gonna be like
way
a,
better.
It's gonna be like a mini like series, like a best of 5 or something.
I thought I saw best of 3, but it might be just one game. I thought I saw best of 3 somewhere.
I would love
I
like a
done
best of
that.
5 and like put a lot of stakes on it somehow, like you know, like hype it up as something like
The loser can't get drafted like before 15 or
they
some
have,
shit.
they have, no, they have to wait next year.
Next
So.
year, yeah.
Oh,
Oh my god.
is
No.
it like NCAA or USHL? Like for the American prospects?
It just said American prospects.
Maybe it's all U.S. programs. That'd be cool.
I think it's all
that would
U.S.
be cool.
programs because it's the entire CHL, right? So I would assume it's all the U.S.
Yeah,
prospects.
So the best of the CHL versus the best of all the U.S. programs.
All the U.S. programs. That's what it sounds like. Because
That
we
is-
call
that
it the
sounds-
CHL, but it's really the best of all our programs, the WHL, QMJHL, OHL,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's just best on best U.S. versus Canada prospects, which is like way better than what they were doing
That's
before.
so epic.
Yeah,
so epic.
that's a
fucking
lot
sick.
better than the top prospects
Yeah,
game.
sick.
I think they just had
'Cause
to figure out the logistics to get it done, but here it is.
I think
I
if they
can't
can,
remember
like,
the.
if they can
Sorry,
hype
Nick.
it up. No, I'm sorry. If they can hype it up as something like even if there's no stakes behind it, like play it up, like just like I don't know, even do the bullshit national pride stuff. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like hype it up. Get a lot of people watching. I hope it's more than just one singular game. And I do want to quickly shout out Jerome McGinley's son because that's sick.
Oh, Tej.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Shout out him. It's crazy that
And
his
then-
son is about to get drafted.
Yeah.
It makes me feel old. And
Yeah.
I'm 20. I'm
Yeah.
20.
Darius, you want to talk about some of the Steelheads that played in the game last night?
Yeah, so Luke Misa, who is the older brother of Michael Misa, who people might know as the newest exceptional status player, he was in the game. He's supposed to get drafted this year, maybe like second, third round. He's a pretty good player, smaller player, a lot of skill, good playmaker. Love him at center with Porter Martone. Get used to the name Porter Martone. He'll be on Canada's World Junior team next year, and he might be a top 10 pick in the NHL next year. So just remember that name. And then Ryerson Leanders. He might be the highest drafted goalie this year. It's up in the air because goalies are so weird. But he is like the best Canadian, I think right now, like his age group at least, like best Canadian goaltender. He's going to be something special. So he made a huge save too if you watch like the highlight pack from last night. So he is the only reason the Steelheads are doing okay this year. So they had a good showing, so good for them. They have a couple other guys too, but they're not in the they weren't invited, and B, they're, like Zidlicki is, I think, technically American or Czech. I don't know. I don't even know. But anyway, yeah, they had a good showing.
And also, I think every Sunday, right, you can check out the Gritcast channel. If you're
Oh yeah, we added a show. We probably should have started with that, but anyway. Yeah, this far into the podcast, we added a show. It's Steelheads Weekly, so check that out. That'll be on the podcast, not the podcast, the channel.
Yep.
30 minutes a week on the OHL and the Steelheads again. So back in my expertise. Let's go.
Let's stick that extra an hour into our show, where I bet our runtime has went like. But let's move on.
No. All our viewers watch till the end.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, Darius, I have access to our channel stats.
He sees the analytics.
Let's quickly talk about streaming and I guess WWE making a huge move in the streaming industry. Okay, quick disclaimer: we are not gonna talk about the Vince McMahon stuff that came out today because, frankly, I don't want to. It's if you want to know about it, check online at your discretion. As they say before each WWE thing, your discretion is strongly advised because
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, that is
certainly do not do that.
Yeah, that is some crazy stuff going on with I think Endeavor and TKO wants him to get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably gonna see some more stuff. But Darius,
yeah,
what happened with WWE and a certain streaming platform?
So WWE announced, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, I think it was Monday, that they are officially partnering with Netflix for a 10-year, $5 billion deal to bring Monday Night Raw to, although it's a lot bigger outside of the US. This is a
huge.
way bigger deal, as
huge.
we found out this morning, outside of the US than we originally thought. Like, this is fantastic outside of the US. But anyway, I'll get into it. They have the option to opt out after 5 years, which is pretty significant too. So a lot of people should know that. But basically, in the US, Monday Night Raw will now be streamed live on Netflix, which is, I think, a great thing for not only the WWE, but Netflix as well, because I feel like they'll get more subscriptions from wrestling fans. And then if you're already subscribed to Netflix, you get Monday Night Raw. That's great.
I'm actually hyped for that.
You get Monday Night Raw. And I was like, that's great because I have Netflix. I know a lot of people who have Netflix. I don't have to miss out now. It's not like I have to go purchase Netflix to watch Raw. I already have it. So I'll just continue to be able to watch Raw if I want. That's in the US because they're also partnered in the US with Peacock, who hosts all their premium live events, which used to be pay-per-views. Sounds weird to say. So the Peacock's all over that. If you have Peacock, you also have access to the network. I think that's how that works right now. You can subscribe to the network, by itself. But it sounds like now at the end of this year, the network is going to fold and they're going to put everything from the network onto Netflix, which is like mind-blowing incredible because you get everything from WWE now if you have a Netflix subscription, which is great because I love to watch the older stuff, right? And
that's the only reason I watch the network is for the older stuff.
For the older stuff. So that's an amazing deal. And then on top of it, I found this out yesterday too, because more has been released about the deal outside of the US. If you have a Netflix subscription, you can watch all the PLEs too. So
and I think also SmackDown and NXT.
And okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to say something real quick. As someone who I think for all of us, people who grew up where it was kind of hard to watch pay-per-views because it was so expensive, and illegally, or legally, whatever you want to say, finding other ways was not as easy as it is now. It was hard to watch pay-per-views, man. Like I remember growing up, like it'd be so hard. Like you'd be like, they'd be like, oh, this Sunday, Hell in a Cell. I'm like, oh shit, I can't.
If you have $75.
Yeah, exactly. It's real, but Darius.
And WrestleMania was $80. When I was growing up, you had to call like this. By the way, you had to call like hours before the show your service provider and be like, "Hello, service provider. I would like to purchase WWE's Super Slam or whatever it was." Super Slam tonight at 7 p.m. And they'd be like, okay, it is now unlocked. And then they would like put it on your bill or whatever, right? Yeah. And now it's just like, oh, I have Netflix.
Or I have crack streams. Anyway, Jason, what you said actually comes to fruition. That is so good. Like I think you'll probably see a Netflix price increase if this happens.
I think definitely, especially outside of the US, because if you're like Matt mentioned too, outside of the US, this deal now means everything is on Netflix. You watch SmackDown, you watch Raw, you watch NXT, all the live events are on Netflix.
There'll
everything.
Probably like a separate section dedicated.
It for sure. Peacock works the same way. I've seen the interface or whatever, right? But it'll have its own little section, but they have all the archive stuff. All you need is a Netflix subscription now. So you get all these movies and also everything WWE. Now I feel bad. This is the only time Americans on a streaming deal are getting the tough end of the stick. This is the only time I can remember.
There's so much money, right? With like USA and all the other like.
Well, USA, the deal's up, right?
No, but I'm saying for example, like think of how much money WWE can get if they put Raw on something, SmackDown on something. Whereas in Canada, or like or in Canada, for example, like Sportsnet just had it all. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and their deal is up at the end of the year. Like Matt, you and I were talking about it. The deal's up at the end of the year. Everyone's is. USA's is too, and they're switching everything to Netflix. It's interesting in the US because Netflix is gonna have it's gonna be all over the place if you're in America or if you're an American, because Raw is gonna be on Netflix. USA is gonna have SmackDown now, which is weird.
And it's moving to Tuesdays.
And it's moving to Tuesdays.
Oh, it's going back to Tuesdays?
Yeah, it's odd. Because the Friday deal has to do with Fox, right? Like it's a whole thing. But anyway,
honestly, I mean, I don't even watch, so I don't know why I care that much. But like, man, it's Friday Night SmackDown, man. Come on.
It sounds right, but anyway.
Yeah, that's what I grew up with.
It's better than SmackDown Live or whatever bullshit they.
Yeah, but anyway, it's gonna move again, and then to watch your premium live events, it's gonna be on Peacock. and your archive stuff will also be on Peacock. So it's going to be all over the place. But for us, it's like, oh, you already have Netflix? Okay, here's everything. And like, for me personally, sorry, Matt, I'll let you go in a second. But for me personally, I never got the network because it's just an additional cost. But I love watching like old archive stuff. I haven't really kept up with, until recently, the newer stuff. But now it's like just on my Netflix. That's amazing. Like this is amazing. This is a good deal.
So, Matt, sorry, question. And I'll let you get into it. I've never like even looked into the network interface or all that stuff. Like, how simple is it to like view like different like story arcs or like go back and watch certain episodes? Like do they have it organized where it's like you can watch like all of like Rock and Austin and like the context behind it, or is it like, oh, here's Monday Night Raw from 1999 and these are all of them? Like, how is it organized and how easy is it to access and use?
Before the update in 2019, it was right before SummerSlam 2019. Like, the network was a dream to navigate. They had these things called collections, which is pretty much like they had like Rock Austin McMahon, they had Undertaker Kane, and then they got rid of the collections, and then they made it a pain in the ass to navigate. So I think Netflix will be a welcome change to, you know, making it easier to find stuff. Because if you want to navigate all like the Stone Cold rise to the top, well, you have to go to 1998 and you have to find each specific episode of Raw and you can't even make playlists. You can't add an episode to a playlist and let it all play. No, it has to be separated. And they don't have the old network before they updated. They used to have like timestamps where you could skip between match to match, but you can't.
Sick.
But you can't now. You have to sort of like scrub the bar until you see like the specific match, and then you can then you can play, and then it'll buffer for 5 minutes. So Netflix, let's go.
We're cheering for $1 billion corporation, guys.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And then Americans will have to find, I think NXT's on the CW.
Netflix is on CW. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
NXT is on CW, and then SmackDown USA, and
I don't
then
give
Netflix
a fuck.
has Raw.
I don't give a fuck.
But I think
that's
Matt,
how
what
you
you were
know we're
talking
getting
about,
towards the end.
Matt, what you were talking about is the WWE Network. I've had it before, like on a trial. The interface when they changed it was bad. Like, not
it's
great.
awful.
And Netflix,
like, you can't watch it on.
Yeah.
Like you can't watch like the current network on a mobile device. Like, the only way I've ever been able to navigate it is on my laptop.
Yeah, which is stupid. So now it'll just have Netflix's interface, which, by the way, I know everyone clowns Netflix and you can clown them for multi-billion-dollar company or whatever. They have the best streaming interface ever. It's better than YouTube. It is. It is.
How are they going to handle like the overload on the server? Because I know they've ran a few live events before and people were
bad.
Not
bad.
very.
Sure,
people
you know
were
what, guys?
not happy.
They're gonna.
Guys, I'm sure they will pour a lot of money into making sure this works because they already poured a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
So.
No, you're right. Because they had, I can't remember the show, but they had a live event and it was terrible. They had to cancel it. It was so bad.
Was it a golf thing? Was it a golf thing?
It wasn't golfing. I can't remember. It was like a reality TV show thing.
Yeah, it was like a dating show, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Like what was it called? Hotter something?
No. I can't remember.
Too hot to handle?
Hold on.
It wasn't too hot to handle.
Oh, Love is Blind.
Love is Blind. That's it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So they had that. It was live. It was absolute disaster. But anyway, for this to work, they're gonna pour all this money into it.
Yes.
It's a huge deal. It's a $5 billion deal. So they're gonna make it work. It'll be fine. I have faith in Netflix. I mean, Amazon is streaming NFL games now, so and their interface, the whole streaming platform, Amazon, is not as good as Netflix in my eyes.
Doesn't Apple TV have like the MLS?
MLS,
and then
they'll figure it out.
Peacock,
it's Netflix.
Peacock had the NFL, like that one game.
Yeah. So
yeah, and I think Apple TV also does some baseball games, like a couple of years.
Yeah, the Friday night ones.
Yeah. They have like some sort of deal with them. But anyway.
Guys, before we get out of here, I do want to ask you guys one last question. What is the ripple effect of this onto other sports? For example, let's tie it back. I think the Sportsnet Rogers deal is over with the NHL in a couple of years. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on how this could potentially impact how we as fans watch, sports? Because it seems like it's moving this way.
Yeah, WWE got ahead of the curve with the cord cutters. They realized that's like a big chunk of their audience, and they was like, okay, let's do this deal with Netflix. And I think other leagues will start to realize that even though there still is like a market for cable with like older people, they're realizing a good chunk of their audience, they're not going to pay out the ass for cable, and they rely on streaming services.
Yeah, I think I think this deal is the first huge step, like in a complete different direction for everything. Like I think this is the like we've seen the NFL dip its toes into Amazon, and like we just said, MLB has a couple games on Apple TV, and Apple TV is partnered with MLS and all this stuff. But the entire WWE like archives and all of this and the live streaming going to Netflix. I think eventually leagues like the NHL, when their deal's up in I think 3 years, are going to go fully like to a streaming platform like that. It's going to happen. That's where the money is. A majority of their audience, like Matt said, is younger and doesn't have cable. So I could see that happening. You want to watch the NHL or whatever the league is, whatever it may be, MLS, you have to subscribe to X or whatever, right? So not Twitter.
No,
but,
yeah, we know what you meant.
Nobody calls it that, man. Come on.
You know what I mean, though. But I see it going that way. I absolutely see it going that way, especially now because this is a huge deal, and I can only see this being successful for the WWE. So,
yep. Yeah, I think streaming is definitely going to be on the direction. I hope at some point we can just, watch the sport we like without blackouts and have it all easily accessible on one thing. Like I should be able to. If I want to watch Chicago play Arizona on a Thursday night at 7 p.m.,
should be able to.
I should be able to open up one service and watch it. So
yep.
Let's hope at some point maybe it'll get that way, because fans should be able to watch the sport they like without having to, open up crack streams. But guys,
and at this time next year, may I just say it, because the Royal Rumble is in 2 days at the time we're recording this.
Right.
We will be watching all WWE or premium live events on one streaming service. So I feel like that's just, at this time next year, it's just one step towards that new world. So it's going to be interesting. I'm fascinated by that. So
should be good.
Should be good.
Interesting. But no rap segment or question today, guys. We have been talking for a very, very long time.
Who's winning the Royal Rumble?
What'd you say?
Who's winning the Royal Rumble?
Oh, did we ask this last week?
Yeah, we did this last week.
Yeah, we did, but my answer's changed.
Oh, mine's still CM Punk.
Gunther. Yeah.
It's Gunther.
Oh, wow.
Wait, didn't they did they already like leak the matches?
Yeah, but I read something too that they think it's Triple H throwing out false. Yeah.
Smoke screen?
Yeah.
Smoke screen? Yeah. I mean, I still think Dwayne versus Roman is.
It's time to play the game.
It's happening.
I think Dwayne versus Roman is especially with The Rock being on the.
He's on the board now. Yeah.
Yeah, like come on.
Anyway.
And they gave him the rights to The Rock likeness. So.
Yeah, which never happens.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is a big deal.
Because I know even John Cena doesn't own his name.
Not for like merchandising and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or like whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's crazy.
So but guys, we did want to talk. You know what we will do our annual NHL ESHL episode coming up eventually. When the news dies down a bit. There was an update today, but
All-Star break next week, so we might be able to then.
Yeah, it was next week. I think we do our mid-season awards though. So
yes, sir.
We'll do that. Yep.
Yeah. So next week I'll confirm it right now. Mid-season NHL awards. We'll do that. But guys, with that being said, subscribe, follow, like. We're trying to up our production. I don't know if you guys watched this episode. We have some ISO cams. The backgrounds are slightly different. We're working on we're throwing out ideas for new.
We're cooking.
Yeah, we're just trying new stuff. We're back. Maybe I don't think we're shadow banned on TikTok anymore because we had a couple.
No, definitely not. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, we had a couple
I didn't even know about that. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like capping. It was like capping views or something, and then like the last like 7 are like, like.
Yeah. So that's been
true.
Nice. Darius is vigilant at vigilant or vigilant, whatever. They both work, I guess. For this something, but keep posting there. So follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Darius has been way more active on Twitter recently. I think he's been angry, so that's why you see him on. That's why you see him on there a lot more.
It's the Leafs, man.
I think it comes with being a content creator. So that's all fun and games. But yeah, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter or X, YouTube. Add us on LinkedIn if you want. I don't give a fuck. But guys. With that being said, if you're watching this in the day, have a great day. If you're watching this at night, have a great night. If you're listening to this while you're driving, for me, for Darius, for Matt, for everyone here at the Gritcast, which is just us 3, we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great one. And, go watch the Royal Rumble. Enjoy your time. The weather is kind of improving. So, yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Peace out, everyone.
For more content, visit our YouTube channel and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow the guys on social media at Matt_Mondays, at Nick LaFlame, and at Darius Dominguez.